Understanding human nature through Stoicism. Have you ever walked into a crowded room and felt like you were surrounded by strangers, even if you've seen those faces 100 times before? Every day we cross paths with dozens of people, at work, at the coffee shop, in traffic. Each of them carries a lifetime of stories, joys, wounds, victories, regrets. And yet, despite living shoulder to shoulder, true understanding often feels just out of reach. But what if there's a way to see more clearly, to truly understand the people around us, not just react to them? That's where the ancient wisdom of Stoicism comes in. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Stoicism. Isn't that just about suppressing emotions or acting cold? Not at all. In fact, Stoicism teaches us something far more powerful: how to live with intention, with clarity, and with deeper compassion. Today, we're going to dive into 10 essential truths about human nature. Truths that Stoic philosophers believed were key to building stronger relationships, facing adversity with calm, and connecting more meaningfully with the people around us. And here's the thing, these aren't just lofty ideas from ancient Greece. These are tools you can actually use in conversations, in conflict, in leadership, even in love. So if you've ever wanted to understand why people act the way they do, or even understand yourself better, this journey is for you. Stick with me. Don't skip ahead, and I promise by the end of this series, you'll see the world and the people in it with new eyes. And hey, if this kind of insight speaks to you, do me a quick favor. Hit that subscribe button. It's free, it helps the channel, and most importantly, it tells me you're ready to grow with us. Let's begin. We are all shaped by our experiences. Have you ever looked at someone and wondered, why are they like that? Why does one person seem cautious and guarded, while another seems endlessly optimistic? The truth is, every single one of us is shaped by our experiences. We're like living, breathing books, and every chapter we've lived, every joy, every heartbreak, every quiet moment, has written a part of who we are today. Now here, where Stoic philosophy offers us a powerful shift in perspective. The Stoics believed that it's not what happens to us that defines us, it's how we respond. Two people can go through the same storm and come out completely different. One emerges with scars and shields, careful, maybe even defensive. The other walks out softer, more open, more grateful. Why? Because their response rewrote the meaning of what happened. Let me give you an example. Imagine someone who's faced deep loss early in life. They may seem distant or overly cautious, not because they're unfriendly, but because life taught them how fragile things can be. On the flip side, someone raised in a safe, nurturing environment may approach the world with curiosity and confidence. Neither is wrong. Both are human. When we understand this, something incredible happens. We stop reacting to people's surface behavior, and we start connecting with the story underneath. And that's where real empathy begins. So the next time someone reacts in a way that confuses or even frustrates you, pause. Ask yourself, what story might have shaped that reaction? You don't need the full answer, but that one question could be the bridge between misunderstanding and true connection. That's the power of Stoic awareness. It doesn't make us colder. It makes us kinder and stronger. Stick around, because in the next part, we'll explore how understanding communication styles can unlock deeper, more respectful relationships. And hey, if this resonates with you, hit that subscribe button. Let's grow together. Everyone has a different communication style. Have you ever had a conversation where you walked away thinking, wait, did we just completely miss each other? You said one thing, they heard another, and somehow, even though you were speaking the same language, the message got lost. Here's something worth remembering. Every person communicates differently. Some people speak like a spotlight, bright, direct, right to the point. Others are more like candlelight, soft, subtle, and full of nuance. Neither is right or wrong, but if we're unaware of these differences, it's incredibly easy to misinterpret, feel offended, or even push people away without realizing it. That's where Stoic wisdom comes in. The Stoics remind us that communication isn't just about talking, it's about connecting. And true connection begins with awareness. Awareness of how we speak, and awareness of how others need to be spoken to. Let's say you're someone who values honesty, so you tend to speak bluntly. You think you're being clear, but the other person might hear it as harsh. Or maybe you're someone who prefers suggestion over confrontation, but someone more direct might find your subtle cues frustrating or confusing. So what do? We listen more carefully. We adjust thoughtfully, not to change who we are, but to build bridges. Because when you recognize that someone's style comes from their background, their culture, even their past experiences, you start to see communication as more than words. You see it as a shared space, one that we shape together. And the result? Less tension, fewer misunderstandings, and relationships that feel more effortless and authentic. So next time a conversation feels off, don't just push through. Pause. Ask yourself, how is this person trying to connect? That single moment of awareness could be the turning point that deepens your connection. Because there's so much more we can uncover about what truly makes human connection thrive. Everyone responds to stress differently. Let me ask you something. How do you react when life gets overwhelming? Some of us explode, we raise our voices, we snap, we try to take control of everything. Others, we shut down. We go quiet. We retreat into ourselves, hoping the storm will pass without drawing attention. Here's the thing, there's no single correct way to respond to stress. We all process pressure through a different lens, shaped by our personality, upbringing, and even our biology. And this is where Stoicism offers us something powerful. The Stoics didn't tell us to pretend stress doesn't exist. They taught us this. We can't always control what happens to us, but we can control how we respond. When someone reacts with anger or anxiety, it doesn't necessarily mean they're weak. When someone pulls away and goes silent, it doesn't mean they don't care. It might just mean that's their way of surviving the pressure. Imagine you're working with a teammate who gets defensive when under pressure. Instead of pushing harder, what if you paused and approached them with calm and empathy? Or if a friend seems distant during a tough season, what if instead of taking it personally, you gave them space, then gently checked in? Recognizing how we and others respond to stress gives us the chance to support instead of judge, to connect instead of conflict. This kind of emotional awareness isn't just modern psychology, it's timeless Stoic wisdom in action. Because resilience doesn't mean being untouched by stress. It means facing stress, understanding it, and choosing our next move with clarity and care. So the next time you're in a tense moment, whether at work, at home, or in your own head, remember the power isn't in what's happening. It's in how you choose to respond. And that choice, that's where true strength lives. Stick around, because in the next part, we'll talk about one of the most common traps we all fall into, making snap judgments, and how Stoicism helps us rise above them. The human instinct to judge. Let's be honest, we all judge. We size people up in a matter of seconds, the way they dress, the way they speak, the way they walk into a room. And you know what? That's not entirely your fault. It's hardwired into us, a survival instinct from long ago. Back when a quick judgment could mean the difference between danger and safety. But here's the thing. What once protected us can now mislead us. In today's complex world, snap judgments often result in misunderstandings, broken trust, and missed opportunities to truly know someone. That's why the Stoics taught us to pause. They believe that a wise person learns to suspend immediate judgment, to step back and observe before forming conclusions. Because what if the person who seems rude is just anxious? What if the coworker who's always late is juggling a sick parent and two jobs? Here's a truth worth holding on to. Most of what we see in others is just the surface, and beneath that surface is a whole story we know nothing about. So the next time you feel yourself jumping to a conclusion, take a breath. Ask yourself, do I really know the full picture here? That single pause, that moment of awareness, could be the difference between walking away with resentment or stepping forward with empathy. And that's not weakness, that's strength. That's what the Stoics called living with virtue, choosing reason over impulse, understanding over assumption. So if you've ever felt misunderstood or judged too quickly yourself, you know how it feels. Let's be the person who chooses better. In the next part, we'll uncover one of the most shared human experiences, our insecurities, and how recognizing them in ourselves and others can create deeper connections. If you're enjoying this journey, tap subscribe. You're exactly where you're meant to be. Insecurity is universal. Let me tell you something that most people don't say out loud. Everyone, yes, everyone has insecurities. Even the person who walks into a room with confidence. Even the leader who seems to have all the answers. Even the one who smiles the brightest may be carrying silent doubts. We live in a world that teaches us to hide our insecurities, to mask them with confidence, to push through with a grin. But the truth is, being human means being vulnerable. Now here is where Stoic wisdom offers us something powerful. The Stoics didn't tell us to just get over it. Instead, they taught us to acknowledge our insecurities, not with shame, but with compassion and reason, to look at them calmly, to understand where they come from, and to remind ourselves, they don't define us. Why does this matter? Because when we accept our own insecurities, we start to recognize them in others, and suddenly we stop judging. We start connecting. We notice that when a coworker stays silent in meetings, it might not be disinterest, it might be fear. That when someone brags too much, it's not arrogance, it's a need to feel enough. And instead of reacting, we respond with kindness. This shift changes everything. It's what turns surface-level interactions into real relationships. It's what creates teams that trust, families that support, friendships that last. So the next time you catch yourself feeling insecure, don't push it away. Pause, observe it, speak to it like you would to a friend. Because your worth isn't measured by your confidence. It's measured by your honesty, your self-awareness, and your willingness to grow. And that, my friend, is what the Stoics call true strength. Stick around, because in the next part, we'll explore how understanding self-interest in relationships can protect our peace and deepen our connections. And if you're finding value here, don't forget to hit subscribe. This journey is just getting started. Self-interest in relationships. Here is something we all learn, sometimes the hard way. Not everyone will act in your best interest. And honestly, that's not evil, it's human. People make choices based on their own needs, their own fears, their goals, their insecurities. And while that can be frustrating, especially when we feel let down, the Stoics remind us of something powerful. We can't control other people, but we can always choose how we respond. That's the heart of this truth. In any relationship, personal, professional, romantic, not everyone will prioritize you, and that's okay. The goal isn't to expect perfection or loyalty from everyone. The goal is to build relationships where there's mutual respect, clear boundaries, and realistic expectations. Think about it. A coworker might push their agenda without considering yours. A friend might back out of plans because their needs changed. A partner might disappoint you not because they don't care, but because they're navigating their own internal battles. When we stop expecting others to always put us first, we free ourselves from unnecessary pain. And when we stop trying to control others, we take back our energy and our peace. So instead of saying, "They should have done this for me," ask, "How can I respond in a way that honors both of us?" That's Stoic leadership. It's not passive, it's powerful. It's choosing to respond with clarity instead of resentment, with strength instead of blame. So build your relationships on a foundation of self-respect and compassion. Speak clearly, set boundaries, and most of all, understand that self-interest is not the enemy. It's part of being human. And when we understand that, we don't get weaker, we get wiser. Stick around, because next we'll dive into one of the most common traps in human behavior, projection, and how to stop confusing our own fears with someone else's reality. And if this message speaks to you, hit subscribe. There's more where this came from, when we see ourselves in others. Have you ever called someone selfish, only to later wonder if maybe it wasn't really about them? It's something we all do, often without even realizing it. We project. We take our own fears, our own insecurities, and sometimes even our past wounds, and unknowingly place them onto someone else. You accuse your partner of not caring, because deep down you're afraid of being abandoned. You say a coworker is arrogant, when in truth, you're feeling overlooked or unseen. You claim someone else being rude, when maybe you're the one holding onto frustration you haven't voiced. And this isn't about blame, it's about awareness. The Stoics had a name for this kind of practice, self-inquiry. They taught that before we react, we should look inward. Is what I'm seeing really theirs, or is it mine? That one question, asked honestly, can change the entire direction of a conversation, a relationship, even your day. When we're willing to examine our own thoughts first, we become less reactive and more reflective. We stop assuming, we start understanding, and that creates space for honesty, for compassion, for connection. Because here's the truth, the people around you aren't mirrors meant to reflect your pain. They're individuals with their own stories, their own struggles. And when we stop projecting onto them, we can finally start relating to them. So the next time you feel a strong reaction bubbling up, pause. Ask, is this truly about them? Or is this something I need to look at within myself? That pause, that self-honesty, isn't weakness. It's the beginning of real strength. It's the foundation of clear communication and deeper, more peaceful relationships. Stick with me, because next, we're going to talk about differing values and how learning to respect what matters to someone else can radically transform the way we connect. And if this reflection hit home for you, go ahead and hit subscribe. You're growing, and that's a journey worth staying on. We all value different things. Let me ask you something. What do you value most in life? Is it career success, time with family, freedom to choose your own path, or maybe making a difference in your community? Here's the thing, there's no single right answer. Each of us is driven by a different set of values, shaped by how we grew up, what we've been through, and what matters to us deep down. And while that diversity is beautiful, it can also be a source of tension, especially when we expect others to care about the same things we do. That's why Stoicism offers us a liberating reminder. You can't control what others value, but you can choose to respect it. The Stoics taught that real wisdom doesn't come from forcing our beliefs on others, but from leading by example and honoring the freedom of others to choose their path. Think about it. You might value hard work and ambition, while someone else values slow living and balance. You might push for change, while another person prioritizes tradition. Are either of you wrong? No. You're just coming from different places. And when we begin to see value differences not as a threat, but as an opportunity, something shifts. We stop trying to convince. We start trying to understand. That's where growth happens. You learn more when you sit across the table from someone who sees the world differently and choose to listen instead of argue. This kind of respect doesn't just build better conversations. It builds stronger communities, deeper friendships, and more resilient teams. So the next time you feel tempted to judge someone's priorities, ask, what might their life have taught them to value? You don't have to agree, but choosing to understand. That's Stoic strength in action. In the next part, we'll explore how our motivations, what drives us, differ just as much as our values, and how recognizing that can change the way we collaborate, lead, and connect. If this message resonated with you, hit that subscribe button. Let's keep growing together. We are motivated by different things. Have you ever wondered why some people are laser-focused on stability, while others are constantly chasing the next big adventure? Or why one teammate craves recognition and another just wants peace and predictability? Here's the truth. We are all motivated by different things. Some of us are driven by security. We want structure, reliability, a sense of safety. Others are fueled by acknowledgement. We light up when our efforts are seen and appreciated. And then there are those who entire week. If someone is motivated by safety, offering clarity and consistency might help them feel more grounded. And for the curious souls, give them space to explore, and they'll likely come back with ideas that elevate the whole team. But this awareness isn't just about making others feel seen. It's also about checking in with yourself. What truly drives you? Is your motivation aligned with who you want to become? Or are you chasing approval that doesn't actually fulfill you? When we pause to reflect, we start making choices based on what truly matters, not just what's loudest in the moment. That's the Stoic way, to know yourself, to understand others, and to build bridges where there could have been walls. Stick around, because in the next part, we're going to uncover a subtle psychological trap most of us fall into after making decisions, and how to rise above it with clarity and honesty. And if this message speaks to something in you, hit that subscribe button. There's so much more to explore together. Why we justify our choices, even when we know better. Have you ever made a decision, and then afterward found yourself defending it, even if a part of you wasn't so sure? Maybe you bought something expensive you didn't really need, told yourself it was a smart investment, or stayed in a job or relationship longer than you should have, and said it's just not the right time to make a change. That's called post-decision rationalization, and it's something we all do. Why? Because it helps us protect our self-image. We want to see ourselves as consistent, logical, in control, even when deep down we're uncertain, afraid, or conflicted. The Stoics saw this clearly centuries ago. They believed that true strength isn't about defending our choices at all costs. It's about being honest enough to reflect, to ask, why did I really make that decision? Was it aligned with my values, or just convenient in the moment? This kind of self-awareness doesn't make you weak. It makes you free. Because the more you understand why you do what you do, the more you can grow past ego, past image, and into truth. And here's the beautiful part. When you realize that everyone does this, that everyone in their own way is trying to make peace with their choices, you start to judge people less. You stop asking, why are they pretending? And you start asking, what are they trying to protect? That's where empathy begins. That's where honesty begins. That's where real relationships with others and with yourself can finally take root. So the next time you catch yourself justifying something too quickly, pause. Ask yourself, not with shame, but with curiosity, what's really going on here? That small act of truth-telling, that Stoic wisdom in motion. That's how we stop performing and start becoming. Thank you for staying with me through all 10 truths. If this journey stirred something in you, go ahead and hit subscribe, because the work of becoming a wiser, deeper, more grounded version of yourself, it never really ends. Let's keep growing together, living with stoic wisdom in a messy world. So here we are, at the end of this journey through 10 timeless truths about human nature. But really, this isn't the end. It's the beginning of something much deeper. Because life is messy. It's unpredictable, emotional, chaotic, beautiful, and often deeply confusing. But within that complexity lies an invitation to grow, to become wiser, to understand others more deeply and ourselves more honestly. And that's where Stoicism becomes not just a philosophy, but a way of living. The Stoics didn't promise an easy life. They offered something better, a meaningful one rooted in virtue, one guided by reason, compassion, and courage, one where every challenge becomes a chance to strengthen the soul, every disagreement an opportunity to practice patience, every disappointment a test of perspective, every conversation a moment to connect, not just react. You see, Stoicism isn't about becoming emotionless. It's about becoming anchored, so that no matter what life throws your way, you remain clear, grounded, and aligned with your values. So here's my invitation to you. Don't just watch this series, live it. Let these truths walk with you into your day, into your relationships, into your quiet inner world. And when things get loud, uncertain, or overwhelming, remember this. You have a choice to respond with wisdom, to grow with grace, to live, not react, on purpose. If that resonates with you, you already know what to do. Hit that subscribe button. Because TA's path of clarity, connection, and quiet strength is one we're walking together. Thank you for being here. Now go live the philosophy.